Oh boy. All right. We got big wave of protests. Hands off 2025. And look, we're joining in as well, I suppose. Look at us. Wow. Oh, Boston. This is Oregon? I'm going to guess it's Oregon. Nashville. I guess the sort of like framing of this protest is supposed to be like, hey, Elon and Trump, hands off, whatever the fuck. I mean, sure, whatever. I think that's good. The Turd Reich. That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Very, very good one. Tax the rich, not the penguins. Anywho. Yeah, we got like what, Americans coming out from pretty much all across the country in protest about like, hey, so Elon Musk, Trump, and JD Vance, so those guys are pretty cringe, aren't they? It's like, that's true. That's true. And real. Anywho, what do we got here? What do we got here? Massive crowd in Boston. I think there's also the main big one, I believe, is also in the main big one, I think, is in DC right now, and there's like also like a protest for Palestine as well. Oh well, it looks like those guys are all gonna have to get deported. Oh well. Time for the fucking Gestapo to make their roundup of all these people. I mean, like, obviously, I'm speaking a little hyperbolically here. Obviously, it's not gonna fucking happen that they're going to try to deport everyone for that shit because they don't have the apparatus to do that. Like, I mean, think about like all the different like authoritarian regimes that have like secret police going around and just like trying to apprehend people for protests and bouts of like free speech, like like the morality police in Iran. Like, they'll go after that and just hope that the fear of like, we'll try to go after you, like, has the rest of the people sort of like keep them in line. That's how it's supposed to work, generally speaking. Like, I think this is like, broadly speaking, like a lot of like what happened historically throughout pretty much every authoritarian regime, like Soviet Union, Nazi Germany, Argentina, Brazil, the military dictatorships in South America. We can do like the whole like rigmarole of like, man, let me just provide a list, of all the pieces of shit. We can do that. Like, it's a whole song and dance you can do. Blah 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 blah. Anywho, yeah, huge protests. Great, fantastic. We love that. People should go out and protest. Obviously, great. We love free speech. Yada yada yada. Let's get to the main guy. We got Hasten Pecker. I don't know who this guy is. Man, that is a camera quality. But yeah, out in the field, what can you do? He was at a March for Palestine which I believe protest or gathering, whatever. He's doing speeches. He's out there in DC saying like, "Hey, you know who's cringe, and what is cringe? Fascism." And I'm just like, that's real and true and based. We got a little blurb here. Why don't we take a little bit of a listen?
Now, I've spoken on this matter every single day, as have you. So we've said
Real?
Everything that must be said a million times over.
Real?
So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Also because I didn't really prepare for a speech. I'm sorry. What I want to...
Yeah, I'm going to have to get canceled for that one, Hassan. Shaking my head. Bro went to the protest, not expecting to give a speech. Shaking my head. Time to incredulously cancel Hassan. Shaking my head.
Says this. Right now, this Trump administration has severely escalated the erosion of civil liberties for all Americans.
Real.
Every single one of us.
Real.
You have people getting black-bagged in the street.
Real.
Disappeared for the crime of speaking the truth.
He's real? Real? Mm-hmm.
And that is
True.
and that is precisely the reason why you demonstrating here matters.
Real? True? Based?
We
He's
we
spitting?
must never allow these fascists to take away our voice, even if people don't recognize, even if people don't understand that one day they might be the ones who get black-bagged and sent to a slave labor colony in El Salvador without due process.
True.
We will fight for them too. Because every
Well, I guess it continues on. Well, I mean, yeah, you know, he keeps talking about how fascism is bad and stuff like that. And not really much else to say here. Big protests. Keep doing shit like this, obviously. Whether it's organized or unorganized, I don't really give a shit. Do whatever it takes to make the conservatives mad, because, you know, it's fairly obvious that they're all slipping up, crashing out, and being obviously presented as like, hey, the American people are on the right side, broadly speaking. Like a lot, like even like I think in most recent polling, a plurality of Republicans have also said like maybe we should condition some of the stuff that we're sending to Israel, and like, come on, man. Like the Trump administration, if I recall correctly, not that long ago, just sent more arms to Israel. And, you know, the tepid, pathetic, like, restrictions that Biden did have just on, like, 2,000-pound bombs, that shit got torn up fucking immediately. And guess what? 2,000-pound bombs are being sent to Israel. Because, again, the genocide is starting up all over again. They're bombing Gaza again. I didn't even talk about this, but there was Palestinians were protesting Hamas in Gaza, like, which is crazy to me. And they're still just getting bombed by the Israelis. Like, I mean, you know, if that's like a psychological operation or whatever, I still think it's incredibly brave, broadly speaking, for Palestinians to also be standing up, not only to the Israelis, but also to Hamas. Because again, like I've said before, all of this shit's all about politics. Who are the ones that are ultimately going to be harmed, caught in the fucking crossfire? It's the Palestinian people, right? They know Bibi pays off Hamas. Yep, exactly, Boy Meets Mini. So, like, you know, Bibi, like, did, like, we talked about the history of this before, but, like, the origins of Hamas, like, the Israeli government paid them, donated to them money in order to have them, you know, propped up as the main sort of foil to the that would be the PLO at the time, under Yasser Arafat, to present the Palestinians as, oh, man, they're all just extremist terrorists, because Hamas was, you know, more extreme in their rhetoric, obviously, even though, like, initially they were a charitable organization that did work building schools and mosques and shit like that. That's what Hamas started out initially as, and then the first Intifada happened, and that's when it all changed. And they became a terrorist organization. We know the memes, like, broadly speaking, the Palestinian people also know, like, Hamas doesn't have their best interests. They haven't had elections in there since 2006. Like, the PA and the Hamas are technically in a civil war. But that's neither here nor there. Like, the genocide is starting up again. It's ramping up in the West Bank. We know, like, what this is all in service of. Like, it's for colonization, right? Colonization of the Levant for these fascist colonizers. We know what this is all about. Like, and, you know, overall, the broader point, this is what you have to do, right? You have to keep protesting and resisting at all turns. If you, like, deactivate yourself and decide to be like, oh man, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore, blah blah blah, that's exactly what the oligarchs and people in charge, what they want. They want you deactivated and not motivated to do anything, because it's much easier to maintain the system of control, the society of control, broadly speaking, the hierarchy with the billionaire oligarchs on the top and everyone else, you know, fighting and scrounging for the scraps at the bottom. We know what this is truly about. If you remain unaware, this is why I say, a certain funny orange horseman once said, politics is very dumb, but it is important. Because if you decide to completely check out, guess what happens? They're able to tighten their grip on your neck and choke you out. And that is the point, which means you have to always remain activated. You always have to be fighting further and further for more rights, because guess what? At any point in time, they can just disappear. So yeah, good speech obviously by Hassan. It's obviously not the full thing, but we more or less get the gist of it. Always fight against oligarchy, always fight against oppression, always fight against capitalist sort of like colonialism, all the isms, except socialism, because that's the one solution to the problem. We love ourselves some socialism. We all know what needs to be done in order to be able to proceed forward as a functioning society. And all these fucking tech oligarch, billionaire fucking fascists, these techno-feudalists, they want to get in the way because they want to make your life worse. That's what it's all about. It's what it's always all been about. They want to make your life worse. So resist and fight at any and all costs in order to make sure that, hey, you're not going to be the one who fucking suffers under their boot.